Starbucks is leaving New York City over crime. Those are not my words. This is the words of this YouTuber right here, Cash Jordan. You know, I decided to just react to this because it really just caught my attention. I was just scrolling through my Explore page and I was like, you know what? This looks very, very interesting. So let's have a look, shall we?
After nearly 3 decades, one of the most iconic Starbucks.
Why is Starbucks leaving New York City?
Doors for good. As to a reason why, it depends on who you ask.
Completely sure. Because it's always a busy place.
Maybe the rents went up.
Maybe the economy.
And one internet review of this place when it was open said that on multiple occasions staff would unlock the bathroom door and carry people out, which
oh snap, that is a very, very big problem. And I definitely see that happening in New York City.
Another potential reason why this Starbucks is now closed forever. A reason that's sadly becoming much more common at places like this all across the country. And that reason is out of control crime.
Whoa, he's too close to the camera, Cash Jordan. By the way, this is my first ever video watching Cash Jordan. I do not know who this guy is. Am I missing out? Let me know if I'm missing out. And subscribe, please.
Store closure is really such a big surprise. There was no warning to anyone. Today, people just showed up. The door was locked. The signs were removed in the window.
Dang, imagine just pulling up to your favorite Starbucks and all of a sudden it's closed. I would be devastated, especially if I live near there. Imagine now I would have to be driving to a different Starbucks. Oh my gosh, what a hassle. They should have at least let people know,
like
right?
The height of the tourist season and they closed it.
You probably heard the news. Starbucks is closing 16 stores in cities across America. The company says for safety reasons. So what's going on?
What? I haven't seen one Starbucks close in my city. Is this only like a New York thing?
It's Starbucks.
I would only suspect it's a New York thing.
Decision.
Just steps away, a row of tents inhabited by the homeless, and a block away, gun violence.
The Astor Place Starbucks opened in 1995. The Lafayette and 8th Street store was right by the subway station.
But Starbucks is hardly alone.
Very hot take. I don't like Starbucks. Not a big fan. My wife is, and so is my sister. But every time they're like, "Hey, well, let's go get some Starbucks," I'm like, "Ugh, really? Starbucks?" Like, keep in mind, I would still drink it, but I think it's overrated as heck. I would not want to go to Starbucks every single day, which is something that my sister does. I don't know why she does it, but she goes to a Starbucks every single day.
Local retailers, the cost of doing business is far too high.
Really upset because it was so convenient. The 6 trains right here, the M8 is nearby. I just used to love going here all the time.
Here's a sign of the times.
Bro, just go to another coffee shop. There's way better coffee shops. I assume it's New York City, right? There has to be a lot more coffee shops.
Starbucks will also provide guidance to baristas on how to deal with an active shooter.
Whoa, okay. How to deal with, is that part of their training? Is that how bad gun violence is in New York City? That is crazy. That is.
So after 30 years, one of New York's largest Starbucks.
Okay, now we have the context. Now we're actually starting the video starring Cash Jordan. Cash Jordan, you're going to want to leave a good first impression on me, because if you don't, then I'm never going to click on a video like yours ever again.
Is now permanently
that's just being honest.
But
I'm
what
just being
nobody's
honest,
talking
guys.
about is that although some people blame the rent going up and others blame the unionized staff.
I do got to say, this is a very, very amazing frame right here. Oh, can I take a screenshot? I would love to take a screenshot. Hold on. Let me just pull up my phone. Take a very quick. Oh, there you go. I love his confidence already. The fact that he's filming this on the street. Look at the lady just passing by. She's like, what is this guy doing?
Culprit, crime. That's the reason this place is gone, and others like it are shutting down everywhere. And it's the reason 11.2% of storefronts across this city are now empty. Businesses just cannot survive in an environment infested with criminals doing what...
That is crazy. Not the Despicable Me right there.
They please. And this affects all businesses, from your clothing stores like Macy's that now have to chain up their jackets to your drug.
Oh my gosh, yes, bro, that's everywhere. Not only in New York City, but also over here in California. Everything is locked up. You go to your local Walmart, go to your local Target. Everything is locked up. Even like the laundry detergent. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then I went to go get some shavers, you know, for my facial hair. Those things were locked up too. Bro, it's so annoying that I have to call someone just so that they can unlock it. And then I still have to go to a specific cashier to be able to buy that product. They don't just give it to you. They tell you, hey, I'm gonna go take it, okay, to this cashier. Whenever you're ready, just go ahead and tell them that you have a product. It is so dang annoying. But all of this is because there's a lot of thieves going around. There's a lot of theft going around in the whole country. And I don't even know if just this is something pertaining to the United States, but it's something so common nowadays for all these things to just be locked up, and it's so annoying. We cannot have anything nice nowadays. It's
that are now covered in
crazy.
progressive plexiglass to keep products from wandering off the shelves.
Yes,
to your
I was
cafes
just
and
saying
restaurants
this.
where patrons are now getting robbed by thugs riding mopeds down the side of the street. Or in the case of this Starbucks, there was so much crime taking place in here that its future had been written on the wall for years. And sadly, this is all happening because we live in a city where our justice system sees every criminal as a victim of society. Their actions aren't wrong. No, instead, we're told they're the logical expression of unfairness. Which almost makes sense until you realize the real victims of crime in New York are the law-abiding who work for a living and pay their bills, buy their groceries, and now have to see another store shut down. And that brings up the...
That's a shame. But honestly, what else do you expect? You have a lot of crime, and guess who pays for it? Us, the innocent people that use all these stores and coffee shops for our convenience. Now we have to suffer because of all these troublemakers and criminals that are out there. It is crazy that we have to pay the price for that.
Reason why Starbucks, an $80 billion company, couldn't figure out a way to keep this location open forever. Because
at that point, just scrap it. Just tear down the Starbucks. Rebuild it somewhere else. Change location.
The levels of crime you're about to see which took place here were manageable. The cost of crime goes much deeper than 911 calls to a specific location, and that's why some of America's richest companies can no longer survive in this city.
I don't blame them. I do not blame them one bit.
So this particular Starbucks right here, at one time, it was the largest one in New York City. And to understand why its closure is so shocking, we've got to look at what kept it here for 30 years. First of all, it's the perfect location to sell coffee because it's right by the entrance to a very busy train station.
Okay, yeah, that's what the other guy was saying. It's just it's very convenient. And honestly, it's very convenient, but I still would say go to another coffee shop, bro. Like, Starbucks is not all that.
People still buy coffee here. Look, you've got a shop right there.
Yes, bro, there's a coffee shop right there. And that one, I guarantee you, is better than Starbucks. Starbucks,
this Airstream sells coffee, and you have 1, 2 breakfast carts. This one's right in front of you.
Oh my goodness, you have all those options there, and people still decide to go to Starbucks?
Closed shop. Also, this corner is experiencing somewhat of a retail boom. This is a Wegmans right here, and there's a Raising Cane's across the street from that closed Starbucks. Which is why it's so strange that this place is closed, but there are new businesses coming in here and right here. There's all this business being done here, but this place didn't make it. Why is that?
As to the reason why, it depends on who you ask.
Completely sure.
Okay.
Because it was always a busy place. I really don't know. Maybe the economy. It could be anything, but it sucks.
I'm kind of glad it shut down because.
Oh my gosh. Chad right here, just wanting the demise of the city. Like, I'm glad it closed down.
Definitely a head scratcher on the surface, at least, as to why one place that had been here for a long time is now gone. But a deeper look reveals something else. Because apparently this particular Starbucks had been a magnet for crime, even though it was open for decades. Which is confirmed in the comments section of articles like this one, as well as reviews of this particular location, which indicate something very weird was going on here. Multiple comments say that the store sometimes would be closed when the official hours indicated it should have been open.
So some shady stuff was going on. Gotcha. Something shady was going on. That's why I had to close. Point, period, blank. There, move on.
Photos showing the front entrance blocked so that the store could perform an emergency cleaning. And other commenters mentioned that this particular store had a huge problem with loitering, both in the wintertime when it's cold outside and in the summertime when there was AC in here. And I personally can attest to this, having walked by this location and seen people sleeping on the furniture without a...
Oh, that is crazy. so people would just be camping inside whenever it was cold outside. I could see how that is a problem. And yeah, I guess it's just very unfortunate. I guess the location is what pretty much led to its downfall. The fact that there's probably like a lot of homeless people there, you know, they don't care. They're just gonna walk in there, sleep on the furniture, and just enjoy their 2-hour nap. So, you know,
coffee in front of them. Now, is there anything wrong with taking a cat nap at a Starbucks? Absolutely not. But when you combine that with reports that some of the people in here were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, that might have been illegal, this place was essentially the wild, wild west, and that's a complaint you hear about many Starbucks all across America.
Flag. Red flag. What in the world?
It's me again, Bunny.
Yo,
You
what
do
the
remember
heck?
me, right?
The logo's removed, the door locked, and the windows blacked out. To see another perspective, I pulled 911 calls to this exact address. 255 911 calls so far this year.
255 calls in a year for a Starbucks. This is not even a retail store, guys. This is a Starbucks, a coffee shop. Like, oh my gosh, I used to work at a retail store. I guarantee you we did not call the cops this many times in 1 year.
In general,
So in New York City, you can't pull up 911 calls to a specific business like you can in Seattle, where this Starbucks was, but what we read tells a very sad, similar tale, where in another large progressive city with very little police, rampant crime was all over a similar Starbucks in another high-traffic location. Also, at this particular Starbucks, indoor...
Man, why you gotta tilt the phone, bro? Notorious Starbucks on Astor Place shutters after nearly 30 years.
Handling was apparently very common.
years,
Now, a
that
long
is
time ago,
crazy.
against the walls, you can see over here they had couches and benches, but those were eventually removed to kind of decrease the amount of time people wanted to spend in here to begin with. And apparently,
And that's the problem with a lot of these coffee shops. People go there and they spend not 30 minutes, they spend hours. And imagine if you're just cramped in this very populated city, people are gonna want to go there, but there's gonna be no space because guess what? Starbucks is a place where people just go to do homework, they go to plan, they go to talk, they go to hang out. So, and I say this because obviously it's from experience. You know, we've gone to Starbucks where we just go and we hang out for a couple of hours. So imagine if there's like a group of friends and you're just there talking and just having fun in a table for like 3 hours or 2 hours. People are not going to fit there. They're going to want to be there and you're going to take up a lot of space. So
bathrooms inside this facility.
That's one thing about coffee shops. It gets packed. And it's like people, they go and they occupy a space for more than an hour.
Ever in tip-top shape. And right up until the store's closure, apparently there was a big problem with delivery bikes being parked outside, which explains why across the street there is now a new moped parking lot with brand new signs and planters. But in spite of all of this evidence of a deteriorating, lawless environment, the chain was able to stay open here for quite some time. And that's because Starbucks, they've got money, they can do things to adapt. First of all, you can place online orders so people could just walk in, pick up their stuff, and leave. But if they're doing that because they don't feel safe inside the store, what's the point of renting such a massive store?
Nah, there's definitely something shady going on or something that we don't know because all these things don't make sense. If what he's saying is true, that they extended the lease, then why were they saying the rent? I think there's something shady going on, but point is, this Starbucks is closed. And honestly, I thought I was going to enjoy this video a lot more, but honestly, I don't really care no more. So YouTube is going to recommend a video right there. Go ahead and click on it. Allow me to hit 4,000 watch hours, guys, and let's hit 100 subscribers. So I'll see you guys on the next one.